I don't know. For some reason, I woke up thinking about, I guess, family, and maybe because I saw a Facebook post, like, all blood ain't family and all family ain't blood, you know what I'm saying? I just woke up and kind of just wanted to get some sunlight. Early this Sunday morning. So, but anyway, I'm like one of those people, for better or worse, I cut people off. Friend, my man, family, whoever it is, I feel like is going out of their way to disturb my peace. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you can't make mistakes. I make mistakes and things like that. I guess it's the intent, the callousness, you know what I'm saying, or repeated carelessness. Like I had a cousin, I ain't gonna say on which side of the family, but I had a cousin, for example, and this cousin was known for stealing, and I really enjoy, their intellect. I enjoy conversing with them, but just knowing that no matter how good of a time we have, that you would do something like that for me. Just knowing that that I work, 9 to 5. I get up and go get it. I'm working overtime. I'm doing all kinds of things to maintain. So it ain't like I just got a windfall over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm, struggling basically for each breath, in which, I've been talking to God about that too. Like, God, I'm ready to go from glory to glory, not struggle to struggle, but anyway, this particular cousin, I think for me, like the final straw, like this cousin, their grandma, I was a distant cousin, their grandma had, lost their cell phone, back in the day, and, this particular cousin was helping the grandma look for the phone and everything. But it wasn't until the phone bill came in that they found out that, this particular cousin was making long distance calls to a certain state that nobody else knew anybody really in that state except this particular cousin. So that's how everybody could narrow down that, dang, not only did you steal from your grandma, you helped her look for the missing pieces. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to say that my brothers didn't love me or whatever. Actually, basically the last 2 years, like my oldest brother, the last 2 years of his life, I always feel like, he finally saw me. You know what I'm saying? He would go out of his way to give me my props, big ups. He'd try to, like, get me more involved, I'm going to say, in his kids' life. You know what I'm saying? But, by now his kids are, all teenagers. And so, I told him, I was like, bruh, it's kind of too late. I was like, you kind of bashed me to your children growing up in their formative years. Now their mind is set and they don't have the respect for me that they should. You understand? Like, there's a respect that I'm their aunt, but, it's also like, but like, like Dad said, she's not successful. She's in a constant struggle, and I'm not going to say they're not wrong. Like, since I kind of had that Florida and James mentality from Good Times, I always wanted to help my man rise. I hate when I get emotional. All right. But anyway, I always wanted to help my man rise. I really loved their dynamic. He didn't, I guess, it goes back to, I always wanted a man that made me feel like $1 million over a man that had $1 million. But anyway, my brother would use me as an example to his children of what not to be. For example, like, you're going to be living in an area where you got to fight to get in your own home. in the hood, everybody like to come out onto the porch or whatever. And it could be anywhere from 2 to 15, you see what I'm saying, at any given time. So he's not wrong about that, but of course the longer you live there, you kind of get to know like who belongs with who, or like, oh, that's so and so and their children, or what have you, you know what I'm saying. And not everybody's good, not everybody's bad, or whatever. But like, I see these videos where they say, like, a woman can't raise a man and all this kind of thing. But the saying used to be, it takes a village. And what my brother didn't understand that I did is that in that it takes a village mentality, what it is that, eventually children get tired of trying to please their parents. So it needs to be more than just you. You know what I'm saying? So, I introduced my children to God at an early age. So there's me, there's God, there's their father. Even though we're not together, I never bash my children's fathers, for not being together to my children. I'd wait for them to obtain some revelation on their own, but I wouldn't bash them. For example, my youngest son, his father would be like, I'm going to pick you up on the weekend, son. 3 weeks would go by, he wouldn't even, pick him up, And then, maybe the third weekend he'd pick him up. And then he'd be like, oh, son, stop crying, I'm going to pick you up on the weekend. And like 3 more weeks would go by. And one day, like my son was like 4, maybe 5, but I'm going to say he was like 4. I don't think he was in school yet. But one day he was like, Mom, when's the weekend? And that's what I was waiting on. And I said, aha. So yeah, he definitely had to be 4 because, by the time he was 5, he knew all this stuff. But anyway, I said, aha, you're ready to learn your days of the week. So I took him to the calendar and I started showing him, and we'd mark every day, Monday, Tuesday, and I was like, the weekend, this is the end of the week, Friday. So it begins this, Friday night begins the weekend, whatever. And then, Saturday, Sunday. So now you can count on your own. And that way he could call his dad and, blah, blah, blah. But, I felt like bashing my kids' fathers would hurt them more than the father. And then, I love them. Like, just because we had irreconcilable differences doesn't mean I stopped loving them, But anyway, the whole point was, my brother's children had, pretty much gone astray, even with 2 parents in the household. He used to always say, like, I raised them on better ingredients, better quality, like Papa John's. So I don't know why they turned out this way, And I was like, I told you a long time ago, you needed to spend more time with your children. There was a point like in the early 2000s where God took a hold of my heart, and I really couldn't see anything without seeing him in it. From blades of grass to flowers to everything. I mean, and for like 3 years straight, but I did go seeking for him. I was smoking and reading the Bible, and people were like, you shouldn't do that. I was like, I've listened to that for years, but if I'm not going to stop smoking, I got to at least start reading, so that's what I did. And he took a hold of me and never let me go after that, you know what I'm saying? But there was like 3 years of deep, severe intensity with him, And so, but anyway, that's when I told my brother, I was like, it keeps coming to my heart and mind that you need to spend more time with your children. And he kind of ate me alive for saying it. What? You got 3 baby daddies, you got an ex-husband, like, what are you telling me? And I wanted to like snap on him, and because it was bringing tears to my eyes. If anybody compiles all your bad qualities and spit them all out at you at rapid fire, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's gonna sting. You know what I'm saying? I could have did that back to him. I wanted to do it back to him, but the God in me made me hold my peace. I was like, just remember, you've been warned. So fast forward about 10, 15 years later, after that, came to fruition that, his children didn't have his mindset. Maybe only one. you know, but it was like 5 of them. They didn't have his mindset because they had the tutelage of the mother, you know. And as far as East meets West was the mindset of the mother from my brother. That's why he started trying to, I'm going to say he also started seeing me, but he started trying to build me up. But by then, you can't wait till they're, 17, 16, 17, 18 to start trying to formulate things. Because now they've had peers, they've had your testimony. You see what I'm saying? They've had teachers in school, life experience, etc. It's hard to go from there to move back. You got to start from the foundation on up. Ooh, this is long. All right.